From Lagos, Nigeria, this is News Central. I'm Felicity Ezewike. Top stories tonight. Appeal Court reaffirms Julius Abure as authentic national chairman of Labour Party. Abuja in total darkness as vandals cut away underground cables disrupting power supply in nation's capital. Israeli Security Cabinet approves ceasefire deal, paving way for return of first hostages from Gaza latest by Sunday.
In business, World Bank raises stakes in Africa, laying down terms to unlock $40 billion in power financing.
And in sports, Super Eagles and Udinese goalkeeper Maduka Okoye faces probe over alleged betting activity in Serie A. Details in a moment.
Tonight, that's now. Thank you for joining us. The Court of Appeal sitting in Abuja has reaffirmed Julius Abure as the authentic national chairman of the Labour Party. The appellate court, in a unanimous decision by a three-member panel, upheld the October 8 judgment of the Federal High Court in Abuja, which directed the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, to grant the party, under Abure's leadership, all the rights and privileges accorded a political party duly registered in the country. According to the appellate court, it found no reason to dislodge the judgment that was delivered in Abure's favor by Justice Emeka Uite. The National Executive Committee of the Labour Party had earlier resolved to remove Abure as the national chairman. The Lagos State House of Assembly has announced new principal officers following the impeachment of Mudashiru Obasa as Speaker. Obasa, who represents Agege 1, was unanimously removed from his position on January 13 amid allegations of misconduct. The House also dissolved all principal positions and standing committees in the Assembly. Subsequently, Mojisola Miranda, former Deputy Speaker, was elected to lead the State Assembly, while Fatai Adebola was elected as Deputy Speaker. Presiding over plenary on Friday, Miranda announced the appointment of Temitope Adedeji as Majority Leader, David Setoji as Chief Whip, while Richard Kasumu retained his seat as Deputy Majority Leader. Now, the Defense Headquarters says troops killed 156 terrorists, arrested 464 individuals, and successfully rescued 181 hostages from kidnappers in the past 1 week. Addressing journalists during a bi-weekly press briefing on the ongoing operations of the Nigerian military across theaters of operations, the Director, Defense Media Operations, Major General Edward Buba, reiterated the military's commitment to defeating terrorism and insurgency. General Buba highlighted that ongoing military operations are making significant progress in neutralizing threats across the country.
General purpose machine gun, 68 AK-47 rifle, and one AK-56 rifle, 4 FN rifle, among other items recovered during the week. Other items include over 1,600 rounds of 7.62 millimeter special ammunition, as well as over 670 rounds of 7.62 millimeter NATO ammunition, 8 vehicles, 42 motorcycles, and 29 mobile phones, among other items recovered in the course of operations this week. Troops in the Niger Delta area discovered and destroyed 48 crude oil cooking ovens, 10 dugout pits, 28 boats, and 6 speedboats, among other items recovered in the course of the week. Troops equally recovered over 705,000 liters of stolen crude oil, over 6,800 liters of illegally refined AGO, otherwise known as diesel, as well as over 1,500 liters of DPK, otherwise known as kerosene, and 800 liters of PMS otherwise known as petrol.
A week after a young lady was arrested by the police in Delta State, South Nigeria, after conniving with her boyfriend to fake her own kidnap, another woman has been arrested. This time, the 40-year-old woman claimed to have been kidnapped on her way to meet her new male friend, whom she met on Facebook. My colleague, Asue, tells us more.
State Police Public Relations Officer is here at the Ekpan Police Station in Ubia local government area of the state to parade some suspects who have become nightmare to the residents in different parts of the state.
There will be parading some suspects who we have arrested.
Notably, among the suspects, as announced by the PPRO, is a 40-year-old lady who faked her kidnap while on a transit to meet her supposed social media fan love.
We now call the supposed dates. That smart Amanda who was coming to meet you has been kidnapped, and they are demanding a ransom of, in this case, she said 15 million. The next day, Faith Ogenejagbo called again that the family of Amanda has been able to raise more than half of the money and is just remaining about 150,000 to complete. And the victim, the supposed date, sent the money.
In a related development, police operatives in the state also arrested a 25-year-old female suspect for allegedly selling a baby conceived out of wedlock. Here is a 26-year-old man who allegedly lured a 12-year-old boy to his barbing salon in Warri and defied him.
Led him to his barbing salon, logged onto a pornographic website, and asked him that both of them should practice what they were watching. The suspect then allegedly defied the 12-year-old boy through his mouth and his anus. Investigation also revealed that the suspect has been defiling this victim for the past 2 years.
Some of the suspects speak with newsmen.
There is this particular man I dated some years ago, and while I was dating him, he promises me a lot of things which he never fulfilled. So he was even sleeping with my friends. So I was like angry, and I said I was going to deal with him.
I don't fit take care of her. I don't give her heart to me bad. I don't give her heart. I don't mean bad for her. And I don't know. I've been a lady when I carry the baby, give I want the baby. I tell the lady make carry her go foundation for me.
And I did not penetrate the child. We were just only masturbating each other.
According to the Delta State Police, other suspects arrested include serial car snatchers, ritualists, cultists, among others, while recovering one Beretta pistol, one revolver gun, pump action, and one locally made quarter-size gun, among others. The police say each of the suspects will be charged to court. In Ekpan for News Central, I'm Austin Azu.
The Court of Appeal sitting in Abuja has reaffirmed Julius Abure as the authentic national chairman of the Labour Party. The appellate court, in a unanimous decision by a 3-member panel, upheld the October 8 judgment of the Federal High Court in Abuja, which directed the Independent National Electoral Commission to grant the party, under Abure's leadership, all the rights and privileges accorded a political party duly registered in the country. According to the appellate court, if it found no reason to dislodge the judgment that was delivered in Abure's favor by Justice Emeka Wite, the National Executive Committee of the Labour Party had earlier resolved to remove Abure as the national chairman. We have to recap that story just to bring in our guests for further analysis. C.K. Igara, National Vice Chairman, Southeast of the Labour Party, joins me now. Thank you very much for giving us your time.
And good evening,
Okay,
Nigeria.
I didn't quite get you, but I'll just go ahead and ask you, how would you describe the latest judgment by the appeal court about your party's leadership? I mean, was there need for another court judgment?
Thank you once again. If you listen to my previous interviews with you, I had confirmed that what they are doing is an effort or wasted energy. I was so sure that what they were doing was just a jamboree because it does not have any basis in the Constitution or in Nigerian jurisprudence. I have not seen anywhere people who just joined the party will decide to sack the party. Individuals, not arms of government or arms of the party. So it was just an effort in futility, which we already know. So that was why we were not disturbed by the appeal or going to appeal or doing other things, because we know they were just trying to waste time, waste the little resources we had and other things. So, but today, it's just a clear confirmation that Nigerian judiciary are doing the right thing, standing up for the right thing and facing what is right.
What is the role of Peter Obi, the party's presidential candidate, in all of this? Why has he been unable to resolve the crisis? That's some of the comments that's going around. Even though some have even accused him of being aloof, does he share in the blame of the crisis in your party?
Well, I wouldn't want to blame Peter Obi. Peter Obi is an individual. Peter Obi does not have any role as far as the Constitutional Party is concerned. He was our former presidential candidate. He does not have any role in the party constitution if you look at the constitution of the party. So people should stop blaming him. If he's joining Dr. Alex Oti, it's only Alex that the constitution of the party recognizes. The constitution of the party does not recognize Peter Obi because he didn't win elections. So we shouldn't bother ourselves with his role. What we should bother more is the National Working Committee, the NEC, the Congress, the Convention, and some of our elected officers, if they are adding value to the party. But if they're not adding value to the party will choose to focus completely on what the Constitution says is the role of every member of the party. And that's exactly what we are doing. So Peter Obi, for me, I don't see major role he should play in this direction. The only thing he should do is to make sure that there's harmony. So that harmony will help him if he is going to contest election again. He can come in and contest election. But as for coming to guide or direct the party, he does not have such locus.
All right, CK, we'll have to leave it there for now. Maybe we could speak further at another time. Thank you very much for your time. All right, the news returns shortly. Stay with us. Thank you for staying with us. Let's bring you a recap of our top stories. Appeal Court reaffirms Julius Abure as authentic national chairman of Labour Party. Abuja in total darkness as vandals cut away underground cables disrupting power supply in the nation's capital. Israeli Security Cabinet approves ceasefire deal, paving way for the return of first hostages from Gaza latest Sunday. Governor of Nasarawa State, Abdullahi Sule, says Northerners were misled into believing that the tax reform bills would result in additional financial burden. Sule's comments come on the heels of Nigeria's Governors Forum, NGF, throwing its weight behind the proposed tax legislation before the National Assembly on Thursday. While backing the document, the NGF proposed an equitable sharing formula for value-added tax. They also recommended that there should be no terminal clause for TET Fund, National Agency for Science and Engineering Infrastructure, and National Information Technology Development Agency in the sharing of development levies in the bills. The governors also backed the continuation of the legislative process at the National Assembly that will culminate in the eventual passage of the bill. Dr. Boniface Chizie, an expert of economic on economic matters, joins me now to share his perspective on the bill and while it was finally backed by governors. Thank you for giving us your time. What are your thoughts on Governor Sule's statement that Northerners were misled about the tax reform bills?
I think that's what I would say is that Daniel has come to judgment. So essentially, I think that's what Dr. Sule just had him say. It's a welcome development because Nigeria is in need of this reform. You know, if you look at the tax system in Nigeria, it's not what exactly it should be. It's not serving the purpose which it should serve. When you look at the tax itself, it should enable us to fund our recurrent expenses. And we've not been doing that. So, and then if you're not doing that with taxation, it means you're borrowing money, to fund your recurrent expenses, and that's not the way to go. If you should borrow money, that money should be borrowed, for capital expenditure. So I think that's and if you look at businesses in our environment, they've complained for a long time of multiple taxations. And when you look at the tax regime in Nigeria, it's about the highest, in the sub-region, at 30%. And so, the long and short of this is that the tax system in Nigeria, the template you have for taxation in Nigeria is overdue for review. And so I think that this is a welcome development. I think that if there are issues, there are going to be hearings during Senate consideration, and those who have objections or who need some clarifications should take advantage of that opportunity, to get more understanding of what this administration is trying to do.
Talk to us a bit, though, about the concerns that was raised on how the reform bill will impact the northern region specifically.
Well, I think that taxation, I think that's which was was the fact in VAT and the way VAT was being shared before. What we're trying to do now, VAT is a consumption tax, which says if you consume, then you pay. And so you have sections of the country that, for instance, don't allow smoking, they don't allow alcohol, so on and so forth. And taxations are collected where these things are allowed, and you take them to where they're not allowed. So I think there's some inequity in that, and so all those things need to be corrected. So, and there are issues, so where the capital is, where the money is raised, and so on and so forth. Now, we need to be addressed. You see, what's happening in Nigeria is that when you have people from particular areas of the country, they've dominated governance, and they've skewed things, not objectively in their favor. And so now you're trying to make corrections, and people who have entitlement mentality, and so they are beginning to resist and beginning to overheat the system. I think that we should all be grateful that, like I said earlier on, I said Daniel has come to judgment that this is happening, and that the Northerners are now beginning to embrace this. If governors, have come to their enlightenment, this is something that the country desires. I would expect that the MS also would fall in line.
All right, Doctor. Thank you for speaking with us.
Thank you for having me.
Let's tell you about illegal market structures at the popular Sele bus stop along Oshodi-Apapa Expressway have been demolished, actually, by men of the Kick Against Indiscipline agency under the Lagos State government. The demolition exercise, which started Friday morning, witnessed the demolition of illegal kiosks, warehouses, stores erected as business centers around the bus stop. News Central's Omolola Ololade was there and brought us this report.
What used to be a bustling market with several activities of buying and selling is now brought down to rubble by members of the Kick Against Indiscipline agency under the Lagos State government. The demolition of shops at the popular Oduero market in the Sele area of Lagos started at the early hours of Friday morning, leaving traders devastated about the destruction. While a few traders were able to salvage their goods, Many remain sad as they recount their losses.
They came about 3 days ago to tell us that they will come back today. But coming back, we didn't expect all this. Demolishing our table, spoiling our goods, unaware. Assuming we know that they are going to demolish all these things, we wouldn't have gone to market yesterday. We bought many of us, our goods are here. Like me now, I lost some of my goods. I don't know where it is.
Estimate of the goods is worth in 2 million. It's worth in 2 millions because personally, I have over 1 million of it. So if you multiply it by over 300 people here, we have people that are far, far richer than me in this market. That has more capital in their business than I do. So it runs into millions. We can't estimate it as it is right now.
Besides being surrounded by a canal, the market situated under the bridge is also a major link road from Itire to Sele, which poses an environmental and security threat to residents, hence the demolition, according to KAI officials.
There has been a law in Lagos State that there should be no form of buying and selling under the bridge. And equally, you can see that they blocked the canal, so nobody can use the canal again. The canal is blocked, the water is not flowing. And we came here last week. I started being noting since last week, Wednesday. I even came with the commissioner on Monday, so they refused to move. You can see the old trash being moved. And on top of that bridge, every night when they rob, they run down to this place. They want to clear the place of street leader and miscreants.
While the market's women mentioned that they were given a short notice, the Lagos State Ministry of Environment and Water Resources earlier this week warned citizens of the demolition of shanties and illegal market structures in the state. In Lagos for News Central, I am Omolola Ololode.
A mild drama unfolded on Friday at the Edo Election Tribunal sitting premises, triggered by concerns expressed by All Progressive Congress Party supporters. This is over the continuous parade of private security personnel by the People's Democratic Party governorship candidate, Asue Ighodalo, at the Election Tribunal court premises. The situation escalated as APC supporters argued that the presence of multiple security agencies was sufficient to guarantee strict security within the court, prompting questions about why the PDP candidate felt compelled to bring non-security personnel to accompany him to court. The presence of security personnel on site helped to calm the tension, enabling the tribunal sitting to go ahead.
Security, and we don't know that. We asked them to go there. The only security that we were allowed to be here is the DSS and the police, accredited by the court. Lots of illegal security that was done by Asue. We said no. We said no.
We are here, we are law abiding. We are not here to come and make trouble. What we saw here, we saw civilian security agencies blocking the entrance of the court. That they should not get access to the court. I asked, who are these men? They said they are private security to Asue. I said, you people cannot be here. If we want the private security, if I put my boys here, you people cannot stand here. I said, okay, you people leave. Allow the police and the DSS to do their job. They started resisting.
We have more stories still ahead on the news. Stay with us. The Transmission Company of Nigeria says electricity lines supplying power to various parts of Abuja have again been attacked by vandals, throwing the capital city into blackout. According to Public Affairs Manager of TCN, Ndidimba, the incident occurred in the early hours of Friday. The development comes less than 1 month after vandals attacked, stole and damaged TCN's 330 kilovolts Shiroro Katankpe transmission line. Mba said the latest attack by the vandals was on the 132 kV transmission line and underground cable transmitting bulk power to the 132 kV central area transmission substation Katakbe in the central area of Abuja. News Center's Abuja correspondent Amadine Uyi joins us now for further update. Amadine, has power been restored to your knowledge? If not, is there perhaps some update from the authorities as to the timeline for restoration?
Okay, Felicity, I'm still in the office. Power just came a few minutes ago, but I don't think it's across the city center. And the earlier statement by the TCN states that it inferred that it would take several days to be able to fix the power lines that was vandalized. And so the general feeling is that is one of difficulty and one of unhappiness by residents, because just like you said, the TCN had announced several weeks ago that there will be blackout for several days. The TCN announced citizens were prepared for that. But this time around, following the vandalization of this transmission line, a large part of the city center and the central area is under darkness.
Have you heard anything from security agencies as to why this similar repeated attack on infrastructure for our power grid continues?
Now, that is one question many people are asking, because if a very, very important transmission line within the city center can be vandalized, I can tell you that Abuja should be one of the safest cities with the highest form of security, because of is the seat of government, is the seat of the diplomatic community. But questions are being asked if vandals can go and vandalize very important transmission line. Then what about the transmission lines that are outside the city center? Here we have the police, we have the DSS, we have the Guards Brigade, we even have the Nigeria Civil Defense Corps. All of them are domiciled within the city, so we don't know why this can happen. That is the question citizens are asking.
Can you recall if there's been an arrest on previous incidents? Because this is not the first time we're hearing about vandalism.
Now, for the vandalization of transmission lines, there's been not really targeted arrests, though the police and the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps have in the past arrested other criminal elements. But they've not come out to say they've arrested any form of syndicate or whatever that is responsible for vandalizing transmission lines and others.
All right, Amadine, thank you very much for speaking with us. Go catch your rest. I'm sure it's been a long day for you. All right, tensions are rising in Bulumkutu, Abuja, Kwanam OC community in Borno State as residents criticize the Yola Electricity Distribution Company for its billing practices. The issue stems from handwritten charges on already printed bills, with locals alleging inconsistency and lack of accountability in the process. News Center's Umaru Kirawa has more.
This is the Bulumkutu Kwanang OC in Maiduguri, the Borno State capital. Upon receiving a distress call from residents of the area on alleged irregularities in the electricity distribution billing system, News Central crew engaged them for clarity.
Our major concern now is the writing with the pen on the printed bills, you understand, as well as the short notice, just 3 days notice.
They're supposed to type everything so that we can go and pay the amount that they gave to us. So we are not happy with them and we are not encouraged, because what they gave me here is different from what they are writing here.
Adding to their frustration, YEDC has reportedly been issuing 3-day disconnection notices, which many residents claim is inadequate to dispute bills or gather funds to make payments.
Tunda har transformer ya bace zamu cire kuɗi mu biya a hada kuɗi a jiya a jara, bai kamata koyi lokaci daya ka kawo notice kuma ka rubuta da bayro, ka zo ka rubuta mana da bayro ka ce wai lalle sai mutum ya je ya biya kuɗin wuta kwana uku 20,000 gashi na a rubuce. To muna kira idan manyan su ba su sani ba, muna son manyan su shiga cikin wannan lamarin su yi jara
in za a yanke min wuta gaskiya ni za mu dan yi hayaniya simply because ina ga right da ne na biya wuta bai sati ba ka dauke yanzu an kama shekara daya muka zo na ba mu da wuta.
With all these concerns and many questions seeking answers, News Central team sought the reaction of Bulunkutu Business Unit. The business manager denied us access but directed his secretary to inform us to meet the regional manager.
Every customer is expected to pay his bill monthly. And there are situations where some customers don't pay the bills at that particular month, they skip the month. So, and if we issue them another bill, some other time we have to write and then say that yes, this month that you have skipped, that you have not paid, then you should also pay it along with the current bill that we have issued to you. The statutory notice for them to offset their bill is 10 days.
The regional manager was also quick to speak on the alleged metering abuses.
Currently, we have presidential metering initiatives that the federal government will bring meters and then we go and install it to our customers. So that is what we are waiting for. So if the scheme of a presidential metering initiative did not commence, then we have the meter access provider, so that the customer will come and say that he wants to apply for meter. So when he paid, he bring the evidence of payment, then we arrange and then go and meter the customer.
It remains to be seen how these allegations, especially the handwritten payment amounts on printed bills, which many believe could pave the way for exploitation, among others, will be resolved. In Maiduguri for News Central, Umaru Kirawa.
The Israeli Security Cabinet has on Friday approved a ceasefire deal, paving the way for the return of the first hostages from Gaza as early as Sunday. It also brings a halt to 15 months of conflicts that have devastated the coastal strip. The accord is still conditional on the approval of the full cabinet, which was meeting on Friday afternoon. The war between Israeli forces and Hamas has razed much of heavily urbanized Gaza, killing more than 46,000 people, displaced most of the enclave's pre-war population of 2.3 million several times over. If successful, a ceasefire could also ease hostilities in the Middle East, where the Gaza war spread to include Iran and its proxies, Lebanon's Hezbollah, Yemen's Houthis, and armed groups in Iraq, as well as the occupied West Bank. We'll go on a short break now, and when we return, we have business news. Stay with us. I'll hand over to Lekon for some business stories. Lekon, the World Bank has raised stakes in Africa in power financing. What about that?
Well, there's a possibility that Africa might see electricity improve, and it has to do with if African countries can do what they can in meeting the requirements so that they can secure $40 billion for the project. Don't ask me if Nigeria is included, but I'll bring you the details in our business news.
Business news in association with Money Master PSB, the easy way to master your money.
The World Bank and the African Development Bank have outlined requirements for African nations to secure $40 billion aimed at addressing the continent's electricity crisis. Their initiative, called Mission 300, seeks to provide electricity to 300 million Africans by the year 2030, with $30 billion in funding from the banks and an additional $10 billion from private sources. To qualify, countries must adopt regulations that attract private investment, prioritize low-cost renewable energy, and commit to competitive power generation tenders. Plans will be presented at a Mission 300 Energy Summit in Tanzania later this month, focusing on improving electricity access in sub-Saharan Africa.
The Dangote Petroleum Refinery is set to increase its crude oil imports as the Nigerian National Petroleum Company struggles to meet supply needs for its $20 billion facility in Lekki. Currently producing around 500,000 barrels per day, the refinery aims to reach 650,000 barrels per day by mid-2025. Despite the Naira for Crude deal initiated by President Bola Tinubu, officials have revealed that local supply is inadequate. With the implementation of the Naira for Crude initiative, the Dangote refinery is expected to require 550,000 barrels of blended Nigerian crude daily, emphasizing the urgency to enhance storage capacity and secure additional crude supplies. We also tell you that President Bola Tinubu has tasked the National Information Technology Development Agency, called NITDA, with dealing and leading the implementation of the anti-money laundering, combating the financing of terrorism, and counter-proliferation financing data management platform project. This initiative aims to remove Nigeria from the Financial Action Task Force grey list by year 2025, following its inclusion in February 2023. NITDA will collaborate with the Nigerian Financial Intelligence Unit to enhance financial data management and compliance, addressing deficiencies noted in Nigeria's mutual evaluation reports. And that's it on Business News tonight. More stories to come your way in a short while. Stay with us.
Business News in association with Money Master PSB, the easy way to master your money.
For the latest in sports, Tunde joins us now. Tunde, Nigeria's Maduka, I think, faces probe in faraway Italy for match betting. What's that?
Why? That's Italian for the man is in trouble. But don't forget, he's innocent until proven guilty. True. We'll be talking about all that and much more after this.
Sports Update, brought to you by Corn Oil. Corn Oil, we go the extra mile.
Hello and welcome to sports. Udinese goalkeeper and Super Eagles international goalkeeper Maduka Okoye is under investigation for allegedly betting on his own yellow card during a match against Lazio on the 11th of March 2024. The Udine prosecutor's office is probing accusations that Okoye deliberately received a booking for time wasting in order to profit from a bet placed on the outcome. Now, the case also involves Diego Giordano, the owner of Biff Pizzeria, a popular spot for Udinese players. The suspicious betting activity was flagged by Sisal, an Italian betting company, which detected unusual patterns. Okoye is currently sidelined with a wrist injury, and he had been enjoying a strong season at Udinese before the scandal broke. And this comes amid personal struggles, including a reported breakup and family-related issues. Now, Manchester City striker Erling Haaland has signed a new long-term deal with the club that will keep him at the Etihad until 2034. The Norwegian joined City from Dortmund in 2022 and has scored 111 goals in 126 games for the club since. The striker's previous deal, which reportedly included a release clause, had been due to expire in 2027. Haaland's new deal, which will see the striker remain with City until his 34th birthday, should he stay at the club until the expiry, is 9.5 years in length. And the length of Haaland's deal is the longest in Premier League history, eclipsing the 9-year deal that Cole Palmer signed with Chelsea last August. To athletics now, Kenyan marathon legend Eliud Kipchoge will return to the London Marathon in April, aiming for a 5th victory. The 40-year-old, a 2-time Olympic champion, is a record 4-time winner of the prestigious race, last competing in 2020. Despite a demoralizing mid-season dropout at the Paris Olympics, Kipchoge believes he can still compete with younger athletes. The 2025 event on April 27 boasts the greatest elite field in history, featuring stars like Ruth Chepngetich and Sifan Hassan. Kipchoge, who ran the fastest marathon ever in 2019, is also eyeing more major victories, dismissing speculation that the upcoming London Marathon will be his farewell race. And finally, to some tennis at the Australian Open, Jack Draper battled through his third consecutive 5-set thriller at the tournament, defeating Alexander Vukic 6-4, 2-6, 5-7, 7-6, 7-6 in a gripping match that lasted nearly 4 hours. The 23-year-old Briton, the only remaining Brit in the men's singles, fought off Vukic's challenge after taking a late break in the deciding set. He will now face Spanish third seed Carlos Alcaraz in the fourth round, aiming to halt the 21-year-old's pursuit of a career Grand Slam. Alcaraz himself has promised to get a tattoo of a kangaroo if he wins the Australian Open. And that's all we have on sports.
Sports Update, brought to you by Corn Oil. Corn Oil, we go the extra mile.
Glad you're still here. Entertainment is next. Adewo, what do we look out for on entertainment news tonight?
Well, like they always say, a lot in entertainment happens. It's always the ups and downs, but there's always something to, to look out for in entertainment. Well, as it is, we have rising stars coming out, and TikTok might just be banned in the US.
The controversial TikTok.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
Yeah, but we'll bring you all the details shortly.
Entertainment news in association with Glow Unlimited.
All right, now quickly, Nigerian music stars Fola and K-Styles have been named among Apple Music's Africa Rising Class of 2025, highlighting emerging African artists poised for global success. Now, Apple Music Africa, the Rising Star campaign, the initiative previously spotlighted top talents like Thames, Rema, and Omale, and now includes Fola and K-Styles alongside indie singer, Kenyan singer Injere, South African singer and songwriter Lusanda, and Ghanaian beatmaker Arata J. Now, K-Styles' breakthrough, he came out in 2024. He's been dropping hits back to back. For those of you who know the song Dealer, he did that with Omale. And right now, they've been named as the people to look out for. So, Felicity, this is good news for Nigerian Afrobeat music genre, seeing the fact that we're going global.
All I can say is, for everything that's going on in this country, I am super proud of what our guys are doing in music.
It's a lot. And the numbers are actually saying it as well. Streaming numbers are high. People are enjoying our music.
All over the world. Like, there is no country on the in the globe that hasn't heard of Nigerian music. So, yeah, that's all I have to say on that one.
Big up to us on that. Now, let's talk about something that might be affecting people in America, the TikTok situation and the controversy happening there right now. Now, the U.S. Supreme Court unanimously upheld a federal statute banning TikTok in the U.S. over national security concerns about China's control of the app, which has 170 million American users and, significant influence in the music industry. Now, the concern is that the ruling cited valid fears about TikTok's taking data from people and sharing with the Chinese government. And that's how the conversation has been. But on the other hand, TikTok is saying, hey, this is against our fundamental human rights. Why are you telling us that we can't operate here unless we sell to America or we give you most of the shares that TikTok has? So, Felicity, this is a huge situation, and this is supposed to take effect on the 19th of January.
There's been mixed conversations about that. Some say even if they ban it, the Americans will still access TikTok, because majority of them are on there for livelihood, not just for business anymore.
Yeah, and apparently Donald Trump, the incoming president, says there's a possibility that he will look into.
Yeah, I heard that, and people were saying that is one way. If he does that, he will endear himself more to those who probably didn't vote for him.
You see, so it's going to be a win-win for Donald Trump if he eventually does something about it.
Let's see what happens in the coming days.
All right, well, that's all on entertainment tonight.
Entertainment news in association with Glow Unlimited.
And that's it tonight. But before we go, let's remind you of our top stories. Appeal Court reaffirms Julius Abure as authentic national chairman of the Labour Party. Abuja is in total darkness as vandals cut away underground cables, disrupting power supply in the nation's capital. We also brought you news that the Israeli Security Cabinet has approved the ceasefire deal, paving way for the return of first hostages from Gaza, and the stories latest by Sunday. That's all on tonight. Remember, you can catch up on all the latest stories by watching News Central Live on DSTV channel 422. We're also on Star Times 274, Avo TV, and on YouTube. Many thanks, as always, for your kind attention. I'm Felicity Ezewike.